Congratulations to Canada for winning gold in curling, but winners never cheat and cheaters never win. Did the cheaters win? Canada was the whole controversy with the double touching and touching the rock and all of that type of stuff. Y'all saw my video. If you didn't see it, check it out. But is it a little melancholy that Canada comes back and actually wins the gold? Nah, I'm not going to take that away from them or even make it look like it was that. However, I will admit that it wasn't a good look. Not a good look. But it wasn't everybody. This is Brad Jacobs. This dude was money in the gold medal game. Straight money. If they're going to have an MVP, he's the MVP. This dude was making shot after shot after shot. Like you couldn't, like what he was doing was like he was just making it happen. Every time he had to make a shot, he came up clutch. And Great Britain was in control for most of this match until the last couple of ends. And the dude was money. The dude was money. The problem was this dude.
I haven't
Mark
done
Kennedy.
it once. You can off.
You haven't done it once?
He ended up being the problem. And let's keep it real for a minute. And I'm not even going to pretend. I've seen people in my comments, they talk at me like I don't know. And what I will say is this. No, I haven't watched 13 years worth of curling. I know of curling the last couple of years. I've told you the story many times. I got a good friend that I work with. Her daughter is into curling, and that's what got me interested in curling. That's it. But I still like to watch it in the Olympics. And it was still fun to watch. And I still, even though I'm not a veteran fan, I still know a good shot when I see it. And Brad Jacobs was money. And Mark Kennedy was money. He was making shots. This was the only problem. Now, if you flip this up a little bit and say, if he'd have just said, all right, I'll watch it and not do it again, all this could have went away. The problem was the Swedes were like, hey, this has been going on for a long time. And how I took it in my American mind is, this is like if you're watching the NBA, who gets the foul calls and who doesn't? If you go into the rule book, a foul is a foul. Some people get the call and some people don't. Why? And apparently, this guy's been doing this for a while, based on the Swedes. And I thought it was funny when they went to complain to the refs or the officials or whoever that is, and just looking at his face, he was like, I don't want to get involved with it. So clearly this stuff was going on for a while. But again, I had some people in my comments asking, does it really make that much difference? And I would argue probably not. But when you're competing at this level, any advantage is an advantage. Think about what happened with I don't know if you guys heard the story about the ski jumpers. The ski jumpers were taking stuff to make their junk bigger, to make their private parts bigger. So when they did a 3D scan and get their suit, they would have more surface area and it would give them those extra couple of inches due to aerodynamics. It gets to that level of pettiness and trying to do everything you possibly can to get an advantage. To me, that's what this is. This was traveling, and this was the foul call in the NBA. Some people get it, some people don't. And just like in the NBA, it's people that bitch and moan about it all the time. People been bitching and moaning about LeBron flopping for years. Same thing. But in spite of all of that, they came back and handled their business. They came back and handled their business, and they took the gold. This dude right here, straight up the MVP, was getting it done. Getting it done and got it done, and they walking away with the chip. World champions. Truly world champions. Everybody's going to forget about the stuff with Mark Kennedy. This is the dude they should focus on. And I don't even really think that the situation with Kennedy that made it bad was when he cussed out the dude on the ice. And I know this is supposed to be a gentleman's game, but when you competing at this level and somebody accuse you of something, the problem was he had it on tape, and I'm guessing Mark Kennedy didn't know that because he was arguing pretty hard, like I didn't do it. Yeah, you did. It's no question that you did. You did the double touch, you touched the granite, and then the next day the women did the same thing. So, like I said before, you must practice that way because it makes no sense for two people to do it in a competition where they're looking for stuff like this. But they still overcame. They got to the gold medal round and they handled their business and walked away with the gold. Can't take that away from them. Now, I saw in my comments a lot of people like ripping on them like cheaters and all of that type of stuff. I didn't see too many. I saw a few, but I didn't see too many comments that were saying that they should have been DQ'd. Most of the comments were like, why is it that big of a deal? And my thing is like, well, if it's the rules, it's the rules, especially at the Olympic Games when everybody is, you got to go to the letter. Because when you're talking about stuff with scoring and with ski jumps and doing the tricks and all of that stuff comes down to the letter, and you're looking at the nth degree to get any advantage you can. And that's what this is. If another opponent is seeing you get an unfair advantage, then they're going to call you out. And you know what? It may have turned out to be a little bit petty with I think it was the Swedish team. But if you're at this level, you should call it out. And it just turned out that they didn't need the double touch anyway because they didn't bring it up again and they were watching. So I guess after that, he didn't do it anymore, which means he didn't need to do it in the first place, which begs the question, well, why were you doing it in the first place if you don't need it? So you can go back and forth with that. You're not going to get a straight answer. I think it ended up being one thing that this team was doing. Is it skirting the rules? Absolutely. A lot of people say it didn't say that in the rules, and I'm like, I don't know where you were looking. I pulled it up. I guess everybody was thinking that I was talking about the handle and not the granite. It says in the rules you cannot touch the stone. You can't touch the granite. That's a violation. I guess now the question is, if you make that violation, what happens to you? Do you take the stone off the ice? Does that turn don't count? Do you lose that stone? What happens? And I would imagine going forward that they're going to enforce it because there's too much attention to it now. But luckily, it's not going to take away from Canada winning the gold. They deserved it. They absolutely deserved it. Even though Mark Kennedy was a jerk a couple days earlier, he came through in the clutch in the gold medal game. But Brad Jacobs, without question, was the damn MVP of the gold medal games for Canada. Congratulations.